Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm here to give you guys the last episode of Superstars Picks Reviews. This is going to be the last episode for I don't know how long, whenever, I guess until the next time they release a ton of this on the network again. But I'm here to give you guys the last episode of this, and I'm just going to get right into it. This was yet again picked by Sasha Banks. This was the last one she picked, and obviously, I think everybody knew that this match was coming. Sasha Banks is a huge Eddie Guerrero fan, so the match she picked was from No Way Out 2004 WWE Championship match. WWE Champion Brock Lesnar versus Eddie Guerrero. Well, obviously, everybody knows why she picked this match. So once I go through the storyline and then go through the match itself and talk about the aftermath, it'll be pretty damn clear. Um, so the storyline of this match is Brock Lesnar had been a long reigning WWE champion. He had won the WWE Championship in September of 2003, and he was tearing down opponent after opponent for the title. And then eventually, on an episode of SmackDown in 2004, Eddie Guerrero won a Royal Rumble to become the number one contender for Brock Lesnar's WWE Championship at No Way Out. Now, this match was a big deal because everybody was a huge Eddie Guerrero fan at this time, and I think everybody was legitimately shocked and surprised that he was number one contender for the WWE Championship. Because you never would, while he was a really great wrestler, you just never would have thought that WWE would ever put Eddie Guerrero in this type of spot. Eddie Guerrero had been wrestling for years all over the world, wrestling in ECW, um, WCW, and then eventually came to WWE in 1999. And he had done everything that there was to do in WWE. He was a former European champion, former Intercontinental champion, former United States champion, the first ever WWE version of the United States champion, former um, ECW television champion, former WCW Cruiserweight champion, former tag team champion, and everybody just legitimately wanted Eddie Guerrero to win this championship. Eddie Guerrero had gone through a lot. He in um, 2001, he was fired from WWE after he was arrested due to being a drug addict, and Eddie Guerrero just went through a lot of addicts and trials and tribulations. He lost his family at one point. Prior to this, his nephew Chavo Guerrero Jr. had turned on him, and he had to deal with that whole fiasco. And it was just kind of like one of those underdog storylines. Brock Lesnar would also say that he's not on his level, he's too small to be a WWE champion. So this feud just worked on so many levels. A lot of people didn't think that Eddie Guerrero was going to win just because Brock Lesnar was really powerful. Um, and you could just kind of feel that Eddie Guerrero's storyline really made this match really go. Obviously, another thing we got to mention that went on as this was going on was Brock Lesnar also started a feud with Goldberg around this time because they wanted to do that match at WrestleMania. Brock Lesnar had cost Goldberg the Royal Rumble match and caused him to get eliminated. And um, acting sheriff of Monday Night Raw, Stone Cold Steve Austin, because Brock Lesnar was on SmackDown and Goldberg was on Raw, they would never be able to really have much of an altercation with each other. Stone Cold Steve Austin gave Goldberg a front row ticket to No Way Out. And earlier in the night, Goldberg had laid out Brock Lesnar and he had been ejected from the building because SmackDown general manager Paul Heyman wanted to prevent him from interfering in the WWE Championship match. So Brock Lesnar was extra pissed off going into this match, kayfabe wise, anyways. So it really made you question whether or not Eddie Guerrero was gonna, win the WWE Championship. And that was the build up of this match. It was a tremendous build up. Let's talk about the match. Tremendous match. It was fantastic, a great match. It was exactly what it should have been. Throughout the beginning portions of this matchup, Eddie Guerrero and Brock Lesnar try to lock up with each other, and Brock Lesnar's outpowering Eddie Guerrero time in and time out. Brock Lesnar really just dominates Eddie Guerrero throughout the beginning portions of this matchup. outpowers him by hitting belly-to-back suplexes, German suplexes. He hits one belly-to-back suplex that drives him out of the ring. Hits a backbreaker on Brock Lesnar, a 6 suplex, and Eddie Guerrero just works over the back of Brock Lesnar just works over the back of Eddie Guerrero. He ends up hitting a high knee in the corner. And Brock Lesnar attacks Eddie Guerrero on the outside, throws him into the barricade, and eventually Brock Lesnar makes a mistake, and Eddie Guerrero capitalizes on it. He tries to go after the injured leg of Brock Lesnar, and he rams it against the post, but Brock Lesnar pulls Eddie Guerrero shoulder first into the steel post, and um, Brock Lesnar hits another suplex on Eddie Guerrero, and then eventually Brock Lesnar continues to dominate Eddie Guerrero. He goes for another high knee into the corner. Eddie Guerrero moves out of the way, and Brock Lesnar tumbles outside the ring. And then Eddie Guerrero hits a high crossbody right on the outside. And it looks like Eddie Guerrero is actually going to pull this off. But then eventually Brock Lesnar hangs him up on the top rope um, and covers Eddie Guerrero, but Eddie Guerrero kicks out. And then Eddie Guerrero starts to target the leg of Brock Lesnar. He gets him into an STF. Brock Lesnar fights out of it. He goes for the figure 4 leg lock the first time, but Brock Lesnar is able to fight out of it and hit a wicked clothesline on Eddie Guerrero. Eddie Guerrero kicks out. He has another German suplex. Eddie Guerrero kicks out. And then Eddie Guerrero puts Brock Lesnar into the figure 4 leg lock, but Brock Lesnar gets to the ropes. And then Eddie Guerrero gets another STF on Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar fights out of it. Brock Lesnar gets Eddie Guerrero into a weird shin lock while he's got a head scissors on him. And Eddie Guerrero fights out of that. He goes for a roll-up, but Brock Lesnar kicks out. Brock Lesnar just starts to get sick of Eddie Guerrero. He tries to beat him with a roll-up a ton of times, but Eddie Guerrero continuously, valiantly kicks out. Eddie Guerrero hits the Three Amigos on Brock Lesnar, and then he goes for the Frog Splash, but Brock Lesnar moves out of the way. And then Brock Lesnar hits a spine buster on Eddie Guerrero. Eddie Guerrero kicks out. And then Lesnar hits the F5. But because of the move, Eddie Guerrero inadvertently kicked the referee in the head. So the referee takes a bump. And Brock Lesnar's on the verge of retaining his championship. But because there's no referee, the ref's not making an account. So then Brock Lesnar goes outside the ring. He grabs his WWE championship to kind of, I guess, gloat about it, saying that he actually won. And then who comes back out? None other than Goldberg. And Goldberg lays out Brock Lesnar with a spear. And Eddie Guerrero tries to win this match this way at first, but Brock Lesnar's able to kick out of it because the referee took too long to make the cover. I actually like that spot with Goldberg, and I like that Eddie Guerrero didn't win off that because while it would have made sense, Eddie Guerrero's first WWE Championship reign shouldn't come off a fluke like that. So I'm kind of glad that didn't happen. And then Brock Lesnar goes for a second F5, but then Eddie Guerrero counters with a DDT right onto the championship gold. And then Eddie Guerrero hits a frog splash onto Brock Lesnar, covers him, and Eddie Guerrero becomes the brand new WWE champion. And it was just a tremendous moment. You know, everybody was huge Eddie Guerrero fans. Everybody in the audience really wanted Eddie Guerrero to win, and Eddie Guerrero winning the WWE Championship is a surreal moment. It's one of those guys you never would have thought would have been WWE Champion, who really worked really hard to get it. Um, and I loved it. You know, Eddie Guerrero too. I think if you had asked if you had asked like maybe a year prior to this, I don't think anyone ever would have thought that Eddie Guerrero would be WWE champion. As a matter of fact, going into WrestleMania 20, the biggest show of the year, as WWE champion, it was a surreal moment. It was awesome. And Eddie Guerrero celebrates with his family afterwards because they were there that night. And Eddie Guerrero walks away with the WWE championship, and it was just a tremendous moment. If I had to rate this match, I gotta give it 4 stars. The match is technically three quarters, but the moment of Eddie Guerrero winning that WWE Championship makes it a 4-star match. It really just made the match. Um, and as for the aftermath of this match, short term, obviously this led to Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg at WrestleMania 20. And obviously, I think the real reason they put the championship on Eddie Guerrero was because it was going to be Brock Lesnar's last performance. They probably wanted to do Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg, and obviously that match ended up being a train wreck. So you could make the argument that maybe if this match had happened at WrestleMania, maybe that match, maybe it would. I don't think it would have been a train wreck just because Eddie Guerrero could carry a good match out of anybody. But um, you can make the argument that this match wouldn't be as good and maybe wouldn't have been as memorable of a moment. So yeah, that match stuck up the joint because they both didn't give a shit, and Brock Lesnar lost, and then obviously Brock Lesnar was gone from the company up until 2012. He returned and had a probably the best run of his career, accomplished everything there was to accomplish. He was WWE champion again in 2015 until WrestleMania 31. He was just recently the WWE Universal Championship. He held that belt until beating Goldberg at WrestleMania 33 and lost it just about 3 weeks ago to at SummerSlam. Um, and then he also has done the biggest accolade and broke the Undertaker's undefeated streak to 21-1 at WrestleMania 30. You can't forget about that. And obviously, Brock Lesnar, we don't even know what his current status with WWE is. We know we're not going to see him for a while, but we don't know if he's done wrestling or not. So that's to be determined. As for Eddie Guerrero, he would go on to defend the WWE Championship against Kurt Angle at WrestleMania, and a really good WrestleMania match. Which you would have thought that match would have been a lot more, but it just ended up being a really good match. And then Eddie Guerrero would have a pretty decent title reign. The problem with his title reign was because Kurt Angle got hurt, and Brock Lesnar left. He didn't really have any top heroes to wrestle, so he ended up losing the championship kind of quickly because they had to the because SmackDown was more babyface heavy than heel heavy. So there you go. And then Eddie Guerrero would go on to continue his feud with Kurt Angle because Kurt Angle would cost him the WWE Championship a number of times. He lost to Kurt Angle at SummerSlam in 2004. And then at No Way Out 2005, he had won the WWE Tag Team titles. And then unfortunately, Eddie Guerrero would have one big heel run, and then he ended up passing away in November of 2005, which is still very sad. And his memory still lives on to this day. You never would have thought that too when you watch this match. That maybe obviously it's kind of hindsight looking into 2020 whatever, but you never would have thought that. Yeah, almost a year and a half later, Eddie Guerrero would pass away after winning the WWE title. It's kind of like it's not like triumph turns into tragedy, like with certain wrestlers, but it is kind of sad that Eddie Guerrero was ended up dying um, not long after he won the title, and it makes you kind of question like sometimes if Eddie Guerrero still lived, what I don't know what his role would be if he would still be wrestling to this day, or if he would have if he would have gotten a job in the performance center. It's just kind of sad to think about. I definitely think he probably would have held a few more world championships, but you never know. Maybe he'd be in TNA. Maybe he would be in Lucha Underground right now. Maybe he would be in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and it makes you question what Eddie Guerrero would be doing. So that's where Eddie Guerrero is, unfortunately. As for Goldberg, kind of the same thing with Brock Lesnar. Had his last match at WrestleMania 20, then he just recently came back in 2016 and had his final program with Brock Lesnar. Destroyed him at Survivor Series. He was recently just WWE Universal Champion. He won that at Fastlane 2017, and then obviously defended it against Brock Lesnar and lost it. And then he had his final run. He retired pretty much the next night and was inducted into the Hall of Fame earlier this year. And that's pretty much it. I forgot to mention that Taz and Michael Cole did commentary for this match. And as for where they are, Taz would commentate for SmackDown until 2006. And then when WWE rebranded ECW, he would go commentate ECW. And then when that was going to shit and they didn't have anyone to commentate SmackDown, he went back to commentate SmackDown. And then he left the WWE in 2009. He went and commentated for TNA from 2009 until 2015, and then he left, and then now he has his own podcast that you can hear on the radio. As for Michael Cole, he's pretty much the play-by-play guy for WWE. Right now, it's just currently Raw because of the brand split, but he pretty much is the play-by-play guy in all of WWE. And that's pretty much it, guys. As for what Sasha Banks thought about this match, she obviously was very influenced by it because when this storyline was exactly what Sasha Banks was going through as a kid, people would tell her that she was too small, and it meant the world to her to see Eddie Guerrero win the WWE Championships. And she talked about the story how Bailey was at this show, and Bailey gave her like her No Way Out T-shirt and one of the No Way Out steel chairs. So that's actually kind of cool right there. So yeah, that's pretty much the end of the Superstar Picks reviews. I don't know when this series is going to come back. Like I said, it all depends on when the WWE Network posts another series of it. I'm assuming Sasha Banks will be doing it. It will be a different WWE superstar, but that is what it is. But overall, that's pretty much the end of this video. Please make sure you guys like, comment, and share this video so people will watch it. Make sure you guys subscribe to this channel for more content. And click on the bell so that way every time I upload a video, you guys will get the notifications for it. And make sure you guys do the same thing for my CM Brothers and Owen the Talkinator YouTube channels. And that's pretty much it, guys. Talk to you later.